Hello everybody, it's me Mr. Farina here. I'm here to work on some math homework from page 557, and we're going to start here. So if you look at our example, let me see if I can zoom in this bad boy, which I should be able to. There we go. Our example says 4c equals 16, right? And what they did is they said 4c equals 16, and whatever is next to my variable, which is right here, 4, I'm going to do the opposite of that. So this is 4 times c, so I'm going to do 4 divided by c on this side, and whatever I do on this side of the equal sign, I need to do on this side. So I'm going to divide by 4 here, I'm dividing by 4 here, which means I'm canceling these guys out. I'm left at c equals 4, right? So that was our little sample it gave us. I'm going to work out some of the odd questions for you guys, so hopefully we can figure out how to do this. So again, I'm looking at whatever number is next to my variable. Our step 1 is to isolate the variable. Step 1, isolate the variable. Isolate just means get the variable by itself. Okay, my writing sucks with these pens, guys. I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do, this is 5 times t, right? Whenever a letter is next to a number, or a number is next to a variable, it means they're multiplying. So I'm going to do the opposite of multiplying by 5, which is dividing by 5. So if I divide this by 5, I have to do the same to this side of the equal sign, which is dividing by 5. So when I do that, 5 divided by 5 is 1, right? Every time, if I do 5 over 5, that equals 1. If I have 100 over 100, it equals 1. So we know that's why I'm dividing by 5. So when I do that, I'm left with 1, and 1 times t is just the same as t. I'm going to bring down my equal sign, and I'm going to do it over here. What's 25 divided by 5? Well, most of us know that that is 5. So that is my answer. T equals 5. Let's keep moving. Alright, well, you knew it was coming. They had to do it to you. I'm sticking to number 25, and it has 2.55 times d, right? Because if it's next to a variable, they're multiplying, equals 17.85. So I have to do the opposite of this, which means I need to divide by 2.55 or 2 hundredths, right? If I'm dividing that on this side, I have to do it on this side as well. I know that my next step is that these cancel each other out, so all I'm left with is d equals, and whatever 17 and 85 hundredths is divided by 2 and 55 hundredths. So now this becomes a even more fun question. I mean, you guys do have calculators at home, wink wink, so you can use that. Although we do want you guys to practice dividing decimals and all that fun stuff, which I will work out how to do right here. Let me see if I have enough space here. Alright, so remember that famous burger place? Yeah, burger place. In and Out, right? That's one we've always talked about in class. 17.85 is going to go on the inside, and 2.55 is on the outside. Now when we're dividing decimals, this guy's our boss right here, our divisor over here. So what he's going to do is we want him to be a whole number. And in order to do that, I need to move my decimal point 2 times to the right, to turn this into 255. So that's what I'm going to do. And if I move this 2 times to the right, guess what? I need to move this 2 times to the right. So now my new equation is 1785. So let me erase this so I can make myself some room. Let me see here. How many times can 255 go into 1785? It doesn't go into 178, so I actually have to make it go all the way into this whole number, right? So let's take a guess here. 1785 is close to 1800, isn't it? And 255 is close to 250, so that might make it easier for me to figure out how many times or what I need to multiply by. So 255, or let's say 250 times 2 is 500, right? Which means times 4 would be 1,000. Times 5, and I'm doing this in my head because I'm saying 250 plus 250 is 500. So another 500 would be times 4, right? That's 1,000. Another 500 would be times 2 more, so that would be 6. So 6 times 250. Let's just work it out, guys. It's 1,500. Let's just do times 7 then. Let's times it by 7 and see what we get. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 5 is 35 plus the 3 equals 8. 7 times 2 is 14 plus the 3 equals 17. Hey, look at that. Magical guess. That's how it pays off to estimate, guys. So I know that this 255 times 7 equals 1785, which is my answer, right? So then, after I did all that, my answer just goes over here. D equals 7, because that's what I ended up with. Again, I used the power of estimation. I turned this in my head into 250, and I turned this into 1800, right? And I kind of guessed, like, oh, it's going to be around 7. And that's how I figured that guy out. Alright, that was number 25. Alright, we got number 27 over here. And that bad boy, let's read it. The Raimonde family drove 1764 miles, or 1,764 miles, across the U.S. on their vacation. Lucky of all wanted to do that. If it took a total of 28 hours, write and solve a multiplication equation to find their average speed in miles per hour. Alright, so what we're going to do here is, let me get my highlighter. My highlighter says it's black. Oh, because I found my highlighter, that's why. Okay, so my highlighter. The Ramona family drove, so this is how much they drove, right? 1764 miles across the U.S. on the vacation. It took a total of 28 hours. And we want to find their average speed in miles per hour. So those are the important things that we need to figure out, right? So let's see what information we have. It says they went a total of 1764 miles, and they did it in 28 hours, right? So 28 hours times their speed is going to be, or average speed. Oh man, it's like times speed. That's not a 5, that's a S. Right? They went 28 hours, however fast they went, and it equaled 1764. So all I have to do is solve this equation to figure out how fast they went. Again, guys, I'm sorry, my writing looks, actually I got an eraser. I keep forgetting I have an eraser. So let me rewrite it. 28, I'm going to put my variable. You know, I'm switching my variable, guys. I'm going to switch it to A, because that's easier to not look like it's a number. So how do I get A by itself is what you're doing, and that's how you're going to figure out your miles per hour. That's on number 27. Alright, 29. We're doing the same idea. We're going to isolate the variable here. We're going to solve each equation, right? It says to do it on a separate sheet of paper, which you guys have to do anyways. But it says separate sheet of paper because there's not enough space here to write your answer. So I'm actually going to, can I erase this? No, I can't. It's messed up. I am going to work it out right here. So the first thing we got to do is isolate the variable. That's step 1, right? When we do that, I need to do the opposite of 1 2/5. So I need to turn this into an improper fraction first. So if you guys remember how to do that, I'm going to take this bottom number and times it by this number, and then add it to this number, right? So 5 times 1, and then I'm going to add the top number. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 2 equals 7, and then I keep my denominator the same. So if I rewrite the equation, this is what it looks like. 7/5 x equals 7. So now when we're trying to isolate the variable here, I'm going to do the opposite fraction to get rid of my fraction here. So the opposite is 5/7, right? Because if I cross cancel, they all cancel each other out, and I'm left with just 1. So that's how I know I need to multiply by 5/7. But if I did on this side of the equation, I need to do it to this side too. So I'm going to multiply by 5/7. And again, I'm left with x equals whatever this is, right? Well, luckily, we've all learned that if I have a fraction, or I'm sorry, a whole number here times a fraction, I can just turn this into a fraction too. And by doing that, all I do is put over 1. any whole number, you can just always put over 1 if you need to. So now I can multiply these across. Now, if you want to take the shortcut, which I always try teaching in my videos, was the cross cancel, right? So if I have 7 here and 7 here, they can cancel each other out. And then I'd be left with the 1 and 1. And then you would multiply across. 1 times 5 equals 5. And 1 times 1 equals 1. 5 over 1 is the same as 5. So if you didn't know how to cross cancel like I just said, because these are the same, then let's do it the other way. So 7 over 1 times 5 over 7. And I'm multiplying across on the top first, which is 35. And then I'm multiplying across on the bottom, which is just 7. And then I'm simplifying. 35 divided by 7 equals 5. And there's my answer. It's the same thing. I like cross canceling because it makes it go quicker. I know it's something we didn't focus too much on in class, but it's something I think, especially if you know your math facts, it can make the math go by so quickly, and it's something that's important later on. So cross cancel, guys. It makes the numbers smaller that you're working with. Let me see. 33, 31. Should I start 31 with you guys? I'll do it, guys. I'm going to do 31. So on this one, we're doing the same thing. We're going to turn this into an improper fraction first. So I'm going to multiply these numbers first, right? So 4 times 2 equals 8. And then I'm going to keep going and add that top number. So I have 8 plus 1, which is 8 over, keep the denominator the same, which is 4. Oh, look at that. I made a mistake. I was going to say it doesn't make any sense. It's 9, right? 4 times 2 is 8 plus the 1 equals 9. See, even I make mistakes, guys. It happens. I'm going to keep my W there and then rewrite this one. So 4 times 6 is 24 plus the 3. 24 plus 3 is 27. And I keep my denominator the same. Boom. So that's how you get started. Remember, if I'm trying to isolate the variable, I need to multiply this side by the opposite fraction, which is 4 over 9. These all cancel out if I'm cross-canceling, right? I get W equals, right, because I'm splitting this. So if I did on this side, what do I need to do over here? I need to do the same thing, which was 4 over 9. So once you do this, you should, I'm going to let you guys figure the last part out. And again, cross-cancel. It makes it easier. Otherwise, you're doing 27 times 4, which is a big number, and then 4 times 9, which is 36. So you're going to have to divide that big number by 36. Too much work. If you can cross-cancel, it makes it so much faster. I'm leaving you guys here to finish that one, and the rest of them on your own. Alright, that's Mr. Farina, signing off. Have a good one.